This is the new meta, items you should use, secrets on the map, and important news, mainly regarding the future of Fortnite competitive, so stay till the end to know everything. But starting with what you guys are probably all expecting, how are the new weapons and what should you be using? Well, the good news is the weapons are actually great and fun to use this season. In the past, the Star Wars weapons seemed like trash, and there definitely are still a few awful ones this time around, but for the most part, they seem like reskinned weapons we've had in the past, and most of them are good and fun to use. For instance, the most important one to me is the pump shotgun and also the auto shotgun variants. And since the names are so confusing on all of the weapons and blasters, if you need to figure out what is what, go into your inventory, click inspect, and you'll be able to see what it's compared to in real weapon terminology. And I mean, look at the pump here. It's pretty good and fun to use. And please, if you're a supporter of the channel and are thinking of picking up the battle pass, please use code reidtheninja or another small creator's code to help out me and the community. But back to the pump, since this is the main gun that everyone is going to be using, it is called the ACP Scatter Blaster, so use that one. Unless you want the more auto shotgun-esque one, then that one is the BARM ST12 Scatter Blaster. Not my favorite, but still decent. However, the main thing I wanted to test with the pump variant was its wall breaking ability. As we know, in regular Battle Royale, the main shotgun is the Sentinel pump, and that one-shots any freshly edited builds, including wood, which is supposed to be the strongest after being built or edited. Luckily, or unluckily depending where you fall on the spectrum of this topic, but the new Star Wars pump does not have that high of structural damage as the Sentinel. This gun is more similar to the regular pump from Creative or Reload. It still one-shots brick and metal post-edit, however it does not one-shot wood post-edit just like the regular pump. It's also good to mention that these weapons don't have magazines or actual ammo, it's just the Star Wars heat indicator which lets you know if the gun is overheating since it doesn't actually have ammo since it shoots lasers. I'll also quickly touch on some of the other guns that I like, and I'm almost certain all of these weapons are hit scan as opposed to bullet travel time, but after recording these clips I kind of realized that most of the fights were close range so I couldn't really tell, but please comment to confirm or debunk that. I'm pretty sure it's hit scan though, I mean look at this. But speaking of which, this is one of the scoped weapons that I like using at range this season, and it is the A280 CFE Blaster. Many of you will recognize this as the base weapon for the Resistance from Star Wars Battlefront, but I absolutely love this weapon. It does pretty good damage and it's one of the only scoped weapons from this season. There's also this D15 Heavy Blaster Rifle, which is a clone trooper weapon, and this one is very good and reminds me of any other heavy rifle we've had in the game. Slow firing but high damage output, and it actually has a very good first shot accuracy and not a lot of bloom or spread. There's also this IQA-11 Marksman Blaster Rifle, which I thought was a sniper at first, but it actually seems to be, again, more of a marksman rifle. So it does high damage, but isn't quite that one-shot effect that I was hoping for. I was showing this just a second ago, but this is the F11D, and this is more similar to a basic SMG that you'd find in regular Fortnite. And I say basic SMG because there are more rapid-fire SMGs that we'll show later, but this is still pretty quick, just not as quick. In my inventory right now is that rapid-fire SMG that I was just talking to you about, and that is the CR2 Blaster, which shoots super quickly, does a little bit less damage, but the DPS is relatively high because it shoots so fast. And as you can see what's in my inventory, yes, lightsabers are back and they are pretty good, so let's cover them right now. So the lightsaber has a couple different abilities, and there are a few different lightsabers which do different abilities. So the basic one, as to be expected, is the basic attack. Since it is similar to a sword, it does a similar sword attack to all the rest of the melee items we've had in the past. However, since it is a lightsaber, that means you can block because you have the force, so any incoming lasers you can defend for some time. However, this isn't too OP because if someone shoots half a magazine at you, you can defend it, but if it's a little bit more than that, it's going to break your parry and you're going to start to take damage. It's also a movement item, so you have a speed effect and a jump effect and a no fall damage effect, as well as you can double jump with it. Pair this with some slap juice or chug splashes, which are now in the game, and you can go across the entire map practically just sprinting and jumping. And then the fourth ability, while blocking, you can also left click or whatever that is on console to do a force push, which just pushes the person back. And then I'm assuming like last season with the different lightsabers, you might be able to do a force pull, as well as some other things depending if you have a different lightsaber color. There are now flyable vehicles in the game as well with the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing. So these pretty much work similarly to the planes if you've ever used those before, such as in Chapter 1 and whenever else they've been in the game. They fly very similarly and are very easy to use. The only thing that takes some getting used to is the keybinds. I have some different keybinds for movement, and these bind to default WASD, so if you have different movement keys, you're going to need to change these. But other than that, it's very simple to pilot. It has a little bit lower sensitivity than I'd like. Maybe you can change that in settings. I haven't checked. But these are very good and do a lot of damage with the guns that you can shoot as the pilot. It's also good for squads, duos, whatever, because there are extra seats where you can just sit on top of it, just like the planes we've had in the past. And I've always loved Fortnite flyable vehicles because if you run into something, you don't just instantly explode. Yes, your vehicle's going to take a lot of damage, but you're not just out of the fight like that, so it is a little bit better. But will these be in competitive, and what will competitive even look like this season? Okay, so I'd imagine that vehicles probably are not in competitive, but the one thing that I'm kind of thrown back and forth with is lightsabers. Are lightsabers going to be a competitive? They're the best movement item and pretty much the only movement item that's been added so far this season, so that would be great in competitive. And competitive is not being taken nearly as seriously this season, so I could definitely see lightsabers making its way into, if not even the vehicles and TIE fighters. That might be a little bit outrageous, but competitive is totally on the back burner this season because there are hardly any tournaments. So to break down what tournaments there are, I'll just tell you right now because there's only two, technically three. There are Trio Cash Cups and Duos Victory Cups for console only. And then 3 if you count, Skin Cups or Reload Cups and all of those, but those don't really have cash prizes, it's just skin or ranked cups. So to start with the Trios Cash Cups, the big controversy about this is you can only play if you are Division 1 or 2. So last season, if you weren't able to get out of Division 3, you simply cannot play in these. And to make matters worse, there's not even a single chance to rank up to Division 2 or 1 to play in these. So pretty much if you didn't get it last season, you're cooked. And then the other tournament, the Duos Victory Cups for console, well, is only console. So if you're a PC player that's in Division 3, you pretty much can't play competitive this season. So I don't know why Epic decided to do that. I'm pretty pissed about this, but that makes me think that if competitive does exist in any format this season, lightsabers are probably going to be in it. Since competitive is such a back burner topic this season, Epic's probably just going to throw whatever into it and call it good. That's my prediction. That might not come true, but I'd have to imagine that is the case. And some good news for competitive, or bad news depending who you are, is simple builds are officially turned on in all competitive formats. So it looks like Epic is really catering to new players this season and console players. I'm assuming they just don't want the sweats to bog people down when there's a lot of eyes on the game coming for Disney and Star Wars, so they're appealing to the new kids coming in who are turning on simple builds and just want to have a good experience playing this and even get into competitive potentially with something cool like a Duos Victory Cup on console. I don't have a problem with that. I'm actually probably going to switch to simple builds. I'm still tossing the idea back and forth, but it is pretty cool and I do like it. Again, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. I am posting this on day 1 of the season, so I don't have all the news. I'm just trying to get this video out early for you guys so you know what to expect for this season. And if you can respect that, how I'm trying to be there for you guys, then please, again, use code reidtheninja for the battle pass and invest in the channel for more tutorials and content this season. My next season 3 video will be here if it's up yet, but if not, this is how to go crazy in tournaments and prepare you for the next opportunity. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Reid the Ninja, and on that note, I am signing off.